First and foremost, we would like to congratulate you. Of course, a fantastic invention, prosthetic hand using 3D printing. Tell us about the development of the prosthetic hand and how did it come about and why was there a need for it?
Okay, so the hand is still sort of in the prototype stage. We've got it to a point where it has a basic functionality that we're looking for. Still a lot of work to be done, especially on the structural side, the mechanical side. The idea came about when I was doing my master's in 2008. I stumbled across the idea of being able to control a robotic prosthetic hand with muscles from the arm, the visual muscles from the arm. And the aim here is to help people who have amputations, and they would like to then regain some of the control or the use of their hand, which obviously they no longer can do. So the idea is that a person who no longer has a hand due to an amputation can hold a glass or write with a pen, wave or shake a hand with somebody else and regain some of the basic hand functionality that we all enjoy. So in order to do this, you also want to do it. They also want to do it in a way that's similar to what they used to. So it's a more natural way of moving the hand as opposed to normal prosthetics where you've got to move your shoulder or move your elbow in order to get the hand to grip.
Mm. So take us through the process, how the prosthetic hand will be manufactured using 3D printing, because this sounds fascinating.
So in terms of a formalized process, we haven't gotten one yet since we're still in the prototype stage. Probably, hopefully, when it comes down to commercialization, we'll have a more formalized process of the actual manufacturing process. But the basic idea of the 3D printing itself is that the design of the hand is drawn up in some sort of CAD program, so it's a computer-aided drawing program. And then this is fed into the 3D printer, and the different parts of the hand are then printed, and then the hand is then assembled using screws, glue, or whatever else is needed. The electronics are then integrated within the different parts of the hand.
How long did it take? Now, you said you came around the idea in 2008, but how long did it take for the team to develop the prototype?
So the prototype has been in development for about 4 years now, and teams of students have been working on it from 1 year to the next as their final year engineering projects. So they work on it for about 6 weeks, hand it over then to me, then to hand on to the next year students.
Now, we know that prosthetics are very expensive. In the end, once the prototype is done and it goes to market, what would be the average cost of such a hand will be, the 3D printed hand?
Okay, we're hoping then with the addition of all the electronics and the batteries and improving the structure that it will be between 5,000 and 10,000 rand. At the moment, it costs about 2,000 rand to manufacture just the hand itself, but there are still things to be added and there are improvements still to be made, which we expect to increase the cost slightly. Mm-hmm.
So how will it compare to the normal cost of prosthetics? Of a hand?
Okay, so the normal cost of a normal prosthetic hand, without any sort of electrical control from the body, it's purely mechanical. That would go for about anything more than 30,000 rand. And then the more expensive prosthetic hands, which have these kind of functionalities to integrate into the nervous system, they would go for anything above 100,000 rand.
Now, when do you see this 3D printed hand or printing hand ready for market?
Depending on the amount of funding that we get and the amount of resources that we're able to get to work on the prosthetic hand, probably in a few years' time.
Mm-hmm. So you still need resources to finalize it and get it to market, right?
Yeah. We've got. We need students to work on it more consistently. We need funding to expedite the research, and given that, we could push it to a couple of years, to 2 to 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Is the prosthetic hand the only hand job that you're busy with, or are you busy with other inventions as well?
Okay, so the prosthetic hand falls as part of my research project, rather. The other parts involve the actual control of the prosthetic hand. So how do you analyze the electrical signals that would be used to control the hand? So it would be the analysis of the muscles, the electrical signals from the muscles via EMG, and the analysis of the electrical signals from the brain via EEG.
Mr. Mohammed, I wish you all the best of luck in finalizing that prototype.
Thank you very much, Rose.
That was a Wits engineering lecturer, Abdul Khalik Mohammed, who was part of the group at Wits who developed the prosthetic hand. Still in process, and of course, looking forward to in a couple of years getting it done. But joining us now is Charles Beekes. He's the director at Amputee Club of South Africa to speak to us further on the issues surrounding amputees in the country. Very good morning to you and welcome.
Good morning, and to your listeners, and thank you very much for affording me the opportunity.
Charles, how prominent is the issue of amputees in South Africa?
Look, it's a major, major problem. I think it's very understated, firstly, and if we have a look at our census and the poor sort of thing, and on our own work, we estimate there's about 2.1 million amputees in South Africa. Once again, it's very difficult to break it down to exactly what it is. We can't say to you whether there's single finger amputees there and whether it's just a single foot in that. We've been extensively working on this over the last 20 years. And obviously with our the rural areas down in Transkei and things like that, where we have a lot of amputees, firstly from originally the guys going to the mines and being injured, and then a very, very large prevalence of diabetes. That you find that probably in the range of over 70% of amputees in South Africa are because of diabetes. And there's just such a lack of medication for those people in the rural areas, not being quite close to the proper medication, not understanding the disease, and of course that leads to the amputations. So once again, it's so brilliant to work with somebody like Abdul, and we've been talking quite a bit. We're definitely going to be working very closely together in the future. We work in a couple of associations, which is Christian Motorcycling Association and Superbike Magazine. And as you know, we're a non-profit organization completely. And most of us work in voluntary with no pay or anything. So any of the donated funds goes directly to the recipients. And of course, we have a very large number of cancer children as well that are losing them through cancer, where we have the Kirsty Watts Foundation, incredible young lady that was a cancer sufferer herself, and started a program, Kids for Kids, under the Kirsty Watts Foundation. So it's very broad, and it's so sad because it's such a rehabilitable disability, if you want to call it that, and just because of the lack of resources and, money's not being there, people are not being able to get back up and working again, Particularly if you're looking at the hand side of things, I think Abdul was being very, very sort of conservative. Yes, the most basic of the hands that's worked on a cable and a harness system is in the region of 30,000 rand for the hand alone. It's all the other components that go with it that push the prices up. And if you're looking at a hand, the type of hand that they're producing, you're going to look in between 250 and 400,000 rand. So there's just no funders or anything like that that are funding that type of hand. So it's incredible to see that those young students have gone onto this and that they're going to change so many lives. And at the end of the day, that's what we're looking at, to try and help those people.
So you're quite excited about this prospect of the 3D hand?
Very excited. Look, there's been a couple of projects in the country where people have already started and they've tried certain things. I know there was a gentleman down in Cape Town that I think through an accident lost two of his fingers, and he also made a very simple 3D printed hand. But I think with technology, the way that it's going,
yes,
3D is the way to go. And then, of course, the electronics that go with it, that's the incredible part of the whole thing.
Now, Charles, we believe that, of course, you guys, as the Amputee Club, you're working as a non-governmental organization, and as you said, you're all volunteers. So if somebody needs to give you a hand, how can they reach you?
Well, I think a good thing would probably be to follow us on our Facebook page. We have a specific thing that we call Riding for a Limb, where we have a bilateral young mother amputee that started this project last year. She lost both her legs through diabetes. She basically got out of a wheelchair and climbed onto a motorcycle where we taught her to ride with him, and she's done trips out throughout the country, and we have an incredible base of support on that. Once again, just to say to you, we don't handle the monies ourselves. It gets put into a trust. We have certain creditors that we work with, that we built a relationship over the last 20 years, particularly Centurion Medical Services, when they do the actual prostheses and that for us, and we're happy, and we've taken the people through their training and taught them to walk again, or in the case of a hand, to use it, we will then sign it off in the trust base directly to them. So we are 100% accountable, and we pride ourselves that on 100% of all donated funds goes directly to the recipient.
Charles Beekes, I thank you so much, and all the best of luck there. He's the director at the Amputee Club of South Africa. Charles Beekes joining us on the line. So if you want to take a look at the Amputee Club of South Africa, go online and find them on the Facebook page. He says Amputee Club. You'll find them there.